I've never really told this story out loud from start to finish, mostly because for a long time I wasn't sure how I felt about it. When people ask about my first relationship, I usually smile and give a short answer, something safe and simple like, "It taught me a lot." But the truth is, it was messy, emotional, confusing, beautiful, and painful all at the same time. And even now, years later, parts of it still live quietly inside me. I was 19 when it happened. I know that doesn't sound very young to some people, but for me it felt like stepping into a completely new world. I had never been in a real relationship before. No serious dating, no "I love you", no late night phone calls where you fall asleep without saying goodbye. I was the kind of girl who watched everyone else fall in love while telling herself she was fine on her own. And I was mostly fine, until I wasn't. We met in the most ordinary way possible. No movie moment, no dramatic coincidence. He was a friend of a friend, someone who showed up at a small gathering I almost didn't attend. I remember thinking nothing of it at first. He wasn't loud, he wasn't trying to impress anyone. He just listened. And somehow, that stood out to me more than anything else in the room. We started talking that night about random things, music, childhood memories, stupid stories from school. I laughed more than I expected to. I remember going home and replaying the conversation in my head, telling myself not to read into it. But I did. Of course I did. Because for the first time, someone made me feel seen in a way I wasn't prepared for. The days after that, we started texting. At first it was casual, then constant. Good morning messages, long conversations that stretched late into the night. I didn't realize how quickly he became part of my routine until one day my phone was quiet and I felt strangely empty. That scared me. I wasn't used to needing someone's presence like that. Our first date was simple. Coffee, a long walk, awkward pauses mixed with moments that felt effortless. I remember being nervous in a way I had never felt before. My hands were shaking slightly when I lifted my cup. I was so aware of myself, how I laughed, how I spoke, how I looked when I smiled. But with him, the nervousness slowly turned into comfort, and that felt dangerous, even then. When he asked me to be his girlfriend, it wasn't dramatic, no grand gesture, just a quiet moment where he looked at me and said he liked me and wanted to try, if I did too. I said yes before my fear could catch up with me. That yes changed everything. Being in my first relationship felt like learning a new language. Suddenly there were expectations, emotions I didn't know how to handle, and a version of myself I had never met before. I felt joy in ways that were overwhelming. The smallest things mattered. A message from him could change my entire day. His compliments felt like validation I didn't realize I had been missing. But alongside the happiness, there was insecurity. So much insecurity. I was constantly afraid of doing something wrong, of not being enough, of losing him. I didn't know how to set boundaries because I didn't even know I was allowed to have them. I thought love meant giving everything, all the time. We had beautiful moments, late night talks about dreams and fears, laughing until our stomachs hurt, sitting in silence that felt safe instead of awkward. Those moments made me believe that this was what love was supposed to feel like. But there were cracks, even early on. We were both inexperienced in our own ways. We didn't know how to communicate when things felt off. Instead of talking, we avoided. Instead of addressing problems, we hoped they would disappear. And they didn't. I remember the first real argument we had. It wasn't about something big. It was small, almost insignificant. But the feeling afterwards stayed with me. That cold distance. The fear that maybe this fragile thing we had built could break so easily. I cried that night, not because of what we argued about, but because I realized love could hurt. As time went on, I started losing pieces of myself without noticing. I adjusted my schedule around him. I changed opinions to avoid conflict. I ignored my own needs because I thought being understanding meant staying quiet. I didn't know that love shouldn't feel like constantly proving your worth. He wasn't a bad person. That's important for me to say. He didn't intentionally hurt me, but we were young and we were learning. And sometimes learning means hurting people without realizing it. There were moments when I felt incredibly lonely, even though I was in a relationship. Moments when I wanted reassurance but didn't know how to ask for it. Moments when I felt like I was too much and not enough at the same time. The beginning of the end wasn't sudden. It was slow, a change in tone, less effort, shorter replies, missed plans. That quiet feeling in my chest that told me something was wrong long before either of us admitted it. I remember the night it finally ended. We sat across from each other, and everything felt heavy. There was no yelling, no drama, just honesty that came too late. We both admitted we weren't happy anymore. Saying goodbye felt unreal, like watching something fade in slow motion. After the breakup, I was shattered in ways I didn't expect. I thought I would be okay quickly. I wasn't. I grieved not just the relationship, but the version of myself I was when I believed love was simple. I questioned everything, my worth, my decisions, my ability to love again. But slowly, very slowly, I healed. And with time, I began to see that my first relationship gave me something incredibly valuable. Awareness. It taught me what I want and what I don't. It taught me that love should feel safe, not anxious. That communication matters more than perfection. That I deserve to be heard, not just understood. I don't regret my first relationship. Even the painful parts shaped me. It showed me my capacity to love deeply. It showed me my strength when things fall apart. And it showed me that my heart, even when broken, knows how to heal. If you're watching this and you're in your first relationship or healing from your first heartbreak, I want you to know this. It's okay to not have everything figured out. It's okay to make mistakes. Your first love doesn't define you, but it does teach you. And one day, you'll look back, not with regret, but with gratitude for how far you've come. That was my first love. Messy, real, imperfect, and it changed me forever.